What's going on, people? Just wanted to let you guys in on what we're getting done today. We're going to be speaking on finances. So we want to give the insight on how we went about it, and hopefully you guys can take something from it. I'm not saying that you have to do it exactly how we did it. It's just something how we ended up doing things when it came to the finances and saving up for the wedding, and actually kind of worked. So it's just one of those things. Trial and error kind of work, but when you have the experience of others that have done it and have been somewhat successful at it, then you can mimic it or do it the same. It's not about reinventing the wheel. In this case, it's about doing something that has worked for someone else that you can implement on your own. So hopefully you like it. Stick to how we saved and the process that we went through in order to create the funds to eventually get married. So I think this was at the beginning when we first started.
We were already boyfriend girlfriend.
Yeah, we were boyfriend and girlfriend. At that point, like you guys have seen in prior episodes, we already knew that eventually we were going to get married. So it wasn't a question, it was just a when. We came up with a strategy where we would open an account with a local bank. We each put a sum of money that was large, and for us at least, and we started this account, with a bit of a Kickstarter, if you will. So from that decision, from that point, we decided to then start every single paycheck that we got. Obviously, we were working. Every paycheck that we got, we would put X amount of money every month, actually every paycheck. So that means every 2 weeks, each of us would put X amount of money in.
In this time period, the idea is that we open a checkings and a savings. So the savings was like forbidden to touch. That was for the wedding. And then Ivan, throughout that time, he came up with the idea that each of us put a specific amount every 2 weeks. And then from that amount, a certain portion will go to the savings and the other portions will go to the checkings. And then from there, the checkings would be used for whenever we would go out. Basically more like already like strategically setting ourselves already for when we were married, that once we have joint accounts, his money is mine, my money is his, you get me? And there wouldn't be a conflict. So whenever we decided to go to the movies, go out to eat, do any activities that we had to pay for, and it was for the both of us, we will get it from the checkings. And again, the savings was never touched because that was strategically for the wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's great. I'm glad you mentioned it because I completely forgot about that. When the wedding came around, it still wasn't enough.
Oh no.
It still wasn't enough because this is coming from, like the wedding of her dreams. Her whole life she had been dreaming about this wedding, and of course I was not going to shut down that idea and limit it to the funds. So we never had the mentality of like somebody is going, like our parents are going to pay for this, our parents are going to do this, that, and the other. This whole time we always had the mindset that we were going to finance our own wedding. And whatever we were able to come up with was what we were going to have. And there was 2 no-nos. Number one, that we weren't going to get in debt, right? We weren't going to take out no credit card and ask somebody for money to then repay them. Like we were going to do with what we had. And then number 2 was that we didn't ever consider someone else contributing to it in order for us to get in order for her to get the dream wedding that she expected. And I'm glad to say that God came throughout this whole time, because we were walking by faith, and faith, there has to be action behind that faith in order, if not, it's dead, right? It's like it's in the Bible. So we always walked by faith, but we were always focused on achieving and making sure that we were working and doing all the things in order to save up as much as possible to be able to do that.
For me, it was a little hard once we already really started breaking down and planning and stuff. For me, it shook me when the savings we had, but it wasn't to be like, yes, you know,
Our
we're
wedding
good.
is paid for.
You know, it did require a lot of faith, and
It was tested, right?
it was really tested, because he was the type that he would always tell me, or he told me from the beginning, was that go based on what we have. Like, whatever I was looking into, like, okay, he will ask me, do we have enough? Do we have it? Is it saved? Do you want to spend the entire savings that it's left on just this? What about this? What about that? So it really gets stressful on the human side, but it really made our faith be like worked.
Yeah.
For our faith to be worked in this period, in this season, because I knew that God wasn't gonna fail us, and then
Your birthday comes around.
my birthday comes around, and a very special person that means a lot to us, and whom I've learned so much from. Out of nowhere, the day of my birthday, blesses us with taking care of the venue, taking care of the flowers, taking care of the food, taking care of the servers, and it was literally God through that person, because if it wasn't for that person, we wouldn't have what we had. We wouldn't have the wedding that we had. And we're so grateful, because like we were like having faith, but we, like he said, we didn't expect. We weren't expecting from our parents, we weren't expecting from anyone to just like be like, oh yeah, I know they're gonna cover for us. I know that this person, no, like we just were fully dependent on God. That was it. Because who is better than to trust on, you know, than on God? And it was just amazing, because it wasn't a place, we ended up doing the venue in a different place, but I was completely fine with it, because
It was another place that we were looking
it was another place we were looking at, and it still matched the theme that I wanted, and everything else just was exactly how I pictured it.
We prioritized everything. I told her to prioritize from the things that are top priority, so that we attack those things, and then the things in the bottom, if we run out of funds or whatever, then at least those are the things that you kind of didn't
really
care
care
as
about.
much as the ones that you had on top. So that's the
Right.
structure that I told her to use, and I'm glad that she took it into practice.
Yeah.
Even though we ended up doing everything on that list, it still helps out mentally. To our surprise, the wedding was $23,000. That's a brand new car. And I would tell you, we did not pay $23,000.
We did not.
It was supernaturally, God provided.
Yes.
You know, He put people in place that would, you know, bless us. And again, it wasn't because we expected it. It's because, you know, God saw our faith, and He just took us to another level. And that's something that we, you know, are forever grateful, and it's not something that we take lightly. And to this day, like even seeing it right now, it kind of shakes me up a little bit, because sometimes we forget to walk in that same faith. It's not about those huge events in our lives that we have to count on that faith, but really extend that over into the small decisions as well, and see how God really manifests. But the main key thing here is that you have to act upon it. We were
Yes.
acting upon it. We weren't just sitting there and thinking, oh, they're
It's gonna
bless-
come to me.
Yeah, somebody's gonna come and is gonna give us
No.
$23,000 so we can have the wedding of our dreams.
Right.
Absolutely not. You have to act on it.
You have to work your faith, and that's what we did.
Wife! I'm so full.
I'm good. Do I have anything on my teeth?